You ever have those mornings where the shop smells like a mix of ozone and fresh cut walnut? It's better than any candle those fancy boutiques try to sell you. Though we're actually talking about candles today, so I guess I shouldn't knock the competition too hard.
Oh, so we're transitioning from master craftsman to fragrance influencer now? Is that the new TigerDen brand? Because I'm not sure the world is ready for a sawdust-scented three-wick candle.
Well, if it pays for my lumber habit, I'll glue a wick to a block of pine and call it ARP's Morning Mist. But seriously, today's a big one. We're looking at how the world of making is shifting. From robots that weld better than I did in 1998 to how people are turning a garage hobby into a genuine escape from the rat race.
It's the Daily Digest for May 17th. And honestly, Tiger, the tech side of this list caught my eye first. AGT Robotics is putting out this Block 500 beast. It supposedly automates structural welding. Is this the part where you tell me the machines are taking over and we should all start learning to knit?
Not even close. See, Lexicon's Prospect Steel division is using that thing for trusses. Big, repetitive, soul-crushing structural stuff. If you've ever had to run a 10-foot bead on a massive I-beam in a hot factory, you know it's less art and more endurance test. The Block 500 isn't firing the welder. It's letting the welder be the conductor of a high-tech orchestra.
So the human does the thinking, the robot does the sweating?
Exactly. It's moving the heavy lifting to the silicon brains so the human can focus on the fit up and the quality control. And for the guys who aren't at that industrial scale, the mobile guys, Forney dropped the X series. I saw a guy at a job site last week with one of those portable plasma cutters. He was cutting through plate steel like it was a warm stick of butter, right in the back of a Ford F-150. No massive generator, no drama, just clean surgical cuts.
It's impressive, but you know what's more impressive to me? The fact that people are actually fighting for the trades in DC. The ASA and PHCC leadership were on Capitol Hill pushing for Pell Grant eligibility for short-term tech programs.
It's about time. For 20 years, we told every kid that if they didn't get a 4-year degree in something they hated, they'd failed at life. Meanwhile, the guys who know how to keep an HVAC system running in a heat wave are basically wizards. LG just opened that Orange Training Academy in California, and it's not just wrenches and pliers anymore. They're teaching heat pumps and smart home integration.
Which is basically computer science with more refrigerant, right?
It really is. You're diagnosing a system with an iPad as much as a pressure gauge. If you're a young person looking at the world today, that's where the stability is. A robot might weld a bridge, but a robot isn't crawling into your attic in August to find out why the condenser unit is screaming like a banshee.
Speaking of screaming, I saw the clip of that $2,000 walnut slab you were looking at. Talk about high-stakes woodworking. Most people get nervous over a $20 sheet of plywood.
Oh man, my heart rate goes up just thinking about it. That's the mastery path we're talking about today. Surfacing a slab like that, it's not just a project, it's a hostage negotiation with a piece of nature. You mess up a pass with the router sled on a piece of wood that costs as much as a used Honda Civic, and you're going to have a very long, very quiet walk around the block.
I'm guessing you've had a few of those walks?
I've walked enough laps around my neighborhood to reach the moon, Alex. But that's the point. There was this great video on the Maker channel about woodworking breaking the poverty cycle. It's moving from I'm just messing around with tools to I am selling my talent. When you realize you can take a raw, ugly piece of wood and turn it into a dining table that someone will pass down to their grandkids, that's not just a hobby, that's a career, that's wealth.
Well, if we're talking about wealth, we have to touch on the Maker Mogul Corner. Shopify says tufted rugs and resin jewelry are the high-margin winners for 2026. But wait, Tiger, you've seen trends come and go. Is this just another fidget spinner moment, or is there actual meat on these bones?
It's about the mogul mindset. The rug isn't the product, the brand story is the product. If you're just making a rug, you're competing with big box stores. But if you're the artist who reclaims textile waste, suddenly you're an entrepreneur. It's the same with the candle guide we're looking at.
The first pour to first sale guide? I'm skeptical. Everyone and their cousin is selling candles on Etsy. How do you actually make that a business instead of a cluttered kitchen counters problem?
By not trading hours for dollars, as the guide says, you have to master the pricing. Most makers forget to charge for their own time. They calculate the wax, the wick, the jar, and they forget that their hands and their brain cost money too. If you're not pricing for a profit that allows you to buy better equipment, you're just giving yourself a very low-paying job.
That's a cold truth, but I think it's one people need to hear. Whether it's candles or $2,000 walnut tables, If you don't respect your own labor, nobody else will.
Exactly, and that's why I loved the Patreon Summit Q&A this week. It focused on building a community. You aren't just selling a thing, you're inviting people into the process. People want to support the person behind the tool. They want to see the sawdust on the floor.
They want to see the TigerDen version of the world. Raw, honest, and maybe a little bit charred from a welding mishap.
Hopefully less charred as the years go on. But that's the Sunday takeaway. Whether you're looking at the trade path, the mogul path, or the DIY mastery path, the common thread is taking the leap. The world is screaming for people who can actually build, fix, and create.
So, what are you doing with the rest of your Sunday? Going to go play with that robot welder or start pouring some midnight shop scented candles?
I think I'm going to go stare at that walnut slab and build up the courage to make the first cut. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do in a shop is just sit there and respect the material before you start making noise.
Spoken like a man who has already ruined a few expensive boards this year.
You're not wrong. But hey, that's how we learn. Stay gritty, everyone. Go find something to build that scares you a little.
And maybe wear your safety glasses this time.
No promises. See you in the shop.